Oh yeah, massive fireballs. This entire exercise has been done to make sure that you get to enjoy the firearm and that you know exactly what to do in order to get the most out of it. All right, gents, here we have the next day. We're now doing the torture test, followed by the accuracy test later this afternoon. In regards to the torture test, where we at, we have 750 rounds through. We believe that some of the springs might be starting to give in. When we did the breakdown and we found that the recoil spring is slowly giving in, causing a mark on the barrel by the carrier group. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Eventually we'll need to replace that. With the ejector and extractor springs, you measured the length. What did you find?
So I measured a brand new, so springs when they were brand new, springs at 250 rounds, springs at 750 rounds. And for some of the springs, there was almost no compression. So they're actually lasting really well. One of the springs compressed, I think it was like 2 millimeters. I have to look at the spec sheet, but it isn't actually compressing as much as I thought it would be. So they might actually last longer than I initially thought, which is good. But that's one of the things we're doing is measuring the springs at certain intervals so we can actually gauge where the spring life is going to fail. So that way we can actually tell the customers, hey, at this point in time, you need to look at replacing the springs as a normal maintenance for the weapon.
Yeah. So then we have an indication of what sort of round count, and then the customer can take it out and actually measure the length of the actual spring under non-tension, I guess. And that'll give him an indication of where he's at.
Yeah, so instead of going like, you must change your springs at 2,000 rounds, you give them a measurement because they might be running their gun really hot. They might fire 100 rounds really fast and that will deteriorate the spring faster than if you fire 100 rounds slowly because of the heat. So if you give them the measurement and when they're cleaning their gun, they can just check the length, then they go, okay, I'm getting to this, this sort of length. It's looking like it might have X amount of millimeters left. Now I'll order my spring kit and then I can put it in at the next service. And then the gun will last you for a lot longer than just running it until it fails and then having to wait for a spring kit to come
and fix everything else it broke in the meantime. No, that's cool. So we're going to get started with the torture test now. Like I said, in the ARVO, we're going to do the accuracy test again. We found two issues that are impacted, which we since have addressed and fixed. We've also fixed that, or not we, Ed, fixed them on all our guns that we have in stock, in all the ones that are probably being released maybe even as early as this week from customs. So that's going to be fixed. So now we want to go back and actually see what's the end result of that. So that's why we're doing the accuracy test again. And then hopefully we're going to get a consistent result of consistent sized groups for the ammunition. Because it was very out of character to have, or very unexpected, to have a 4 MOA group followed by half an MOA group and then go up to a 3.5 MOA group again. We shouldn't see that unless something is majorly wrong. So anyway, we addressed that now, and now we're going to see what the result is. So let's get into the torture test. Any comments from you? Anything to pick up?
I'll be interested to see how those ejector springs, so the ejector and the ejector and the extractor springs go, because as I said, like they're not actually degrading as fast as I thought they were. They are softer than, like, let's say a standard AR-15 one to start with, which is what I'm kind of gauging it against because it's what I know best. But yeah, they're softer to start with, but they're actually lasting longer than I thought. So they might not actually fail at 800. They may end up failing 1,500 or whatever. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
1,500. We'll see. I think the recoil spring is not going to last that long.
No, probably not. Yeah.
I think we got probably, what, 200 rounds?
Well, yeah, looking at the graph that I've made from measuring a brand new one, 250 and 750 rounds, the graph that I'm able to predict, it looks like it's probably going to fail in the next 400.
Okay.
If it fails at the same rate, if it compresses at the same rate that it has been compressing. Yeah. It may compress faster, so it might be exponentially worse, or it could be a straight line graph. Who knows? We'll figure that out today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Just keep an eye on it. Yep. All right, let's get ready. Let's go. Come out. 40. No, it came out. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's 40. You got 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. We'll just do them in lots of hundreds.
All right, so we're at about 825 rounds and we've had a failure to eject. At this point, it's probably starting to look like the ejector or extractor springs are starting to get too soft to eject correctly, or conversely, the gas system is getting extremely dirty. However, we have cleaned it at the 750 mark, so I'm going to try and rule that one out. Or it could be the return spring could be compressing so much that we're now having ejection issues. So there's a couple of things we'll need to check now. I'll fire the rest of this magazine and see if it does it again within the next 5 rounds. But then I would say we probably need to pull it apart and double check some spring lengths before we can go any further.
All right. Will be worthwhile. Well, I mean, for ease of taking it apart in assembly, if we do the recoil spring first,
Yep.
and see if that resolves the issue.
Yeah,
we
for
can
sure.
keep
And
going.
we'll definitely have to test, like, just do the recoil spring.
Yeah.
Rule that out. Move on to the next thing, because then we can actually isolate the thing. There's no point changing 3 springs and then you don't know what actually has fixed the problem, so we can't gauge it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's finish that off and take her apart. Sorry, I'm in your face, but.
That might be going.
You pushing it straight or down? Push it.
Oh, it might be that nut again. Remember that last time?
What nut? Oh, that nut.
That's tight.
Watch out.
Yeah, so pushing at the top, nothing. Push at the bottom, and it goes. Empty mag. That was hot.
Out. All right, let's take her apart and have a look. Keep an eye on the button too.
Fucking same spot. So that's the pin. That's part of the lever.
Yeah, okay, so that's that silver part inside, yeah?
Yeah, so it looks like the back of that part of the spring, because it rides in where that silver part is, and it looks like, I think
I wonder how much oil or grease would make a difference.
We'll definitely lubricate it, but you can see a bit of a burr in there. It's hard to,
Yeah.
it's so small.
Yeah.
That part.
Is that about?
Yeah, some very small. Just it's right at the point where there's like 2 angles. It comes back and then it steeply drops off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's while that was spring floating, the apex of that springs.
Okay.
Seems to be gone now.
If we were to lubricate that, we're probably not going to see an issue with it.
We'll see. Yeah, I'll put a bit of grease in there, and that should allow it to roll over the apex of that angle change, and then it shouldn't be a drummer anymore because there's no burr there now. Put a bit of grease in, and we'll see what happens. Pointless to put in there because it'll just fucking come out. So here's the 4 end. So took off that slight burr that was down under the spring. Hang on, where's the focus? All right, so this is the fore end. We've just taken out that burr and put a little bit of grease in there, and now there's no, before it was having a little bit of a weird catch there, but now it's functioning fine again. So that will go back on the gun and we'll see how much longer that'll last.
Okay, gentlemen, we are now changing the recoil spring and see what the impact is. So after, what are we at? 820?
830.
830 rounds. This is basically the difference in length of the two springs, a brand new one on the bottom and then the compressed one up the top. So we give that a crack and let's see what happens. Now we'll be shooting the next 100 rounds, seeing how the fore end goes and seeing if the ejection problem is resolved with the new recoil spring. If not, we'll have to go and exchange the extractor and ejector spring. We also adjusted the lever handle to a set point to see if vibration or the recoil will actually change the set screw. And then, yeah, we'll go from there.
So they're still getting pretty sloppy. So they're still ejecting a bit sloppy. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't think the recoil spring has changed much.
But the mag ran perfectly, right? So that wasn't the cutout. Wait, which one?
No, define
Oh,
that.
yeah, you used the damaged one.
Yeah. So
the button is better. The button is fixed. Well, there's 30 left, so 870.
Yeah.
870. One round bounced back in. See if that happens again. But it seems like we're coming to the end of the ejector or extractor spring.
Did it
Yeah,
again?
it did it again. Alright, so that's 2 in a row. See if it does a third in a row. But thoughts are nothing. No. Got a button issue? Yeah. Oh, I did not.
I think it's when you're pushing the button like I was doing it like that.
Yeah.
I think you actually have to do it
Properly.
pushing it up on the same angle that's sitting on.
Yeah.
I think that's a me issue, not the gun.
Good shot. Yep. Oh. She's getting really a little slow sometimes. But it's weird how it's sometimes, not always empty. But like you said, it wears slowly, so we see more and more. Stop. It's back in. Yeah, I reckon it's time. It's starting to be sloppy. We've got 3 within 20 rounds. All right, we'll stop here and exchange the springs. What do you reckon?
Yep, sounds good.
Just do that over your shoulder.
How tight did you do that up? Because that was pretty loose.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I did that pretty tight. When you have it apart, I want to check how far this screw came back.
Oh, the cocking handle one?
Yeah.
Do you still have that blue rag, or did you just throw it somewhere?
No, it must have just blown off.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Do you want to put the original recoil spring back in so we can get that failed? Now that we know that this isn't the issue.
Well, we could test it, yeah.
Yeah, because I want to see how far that will actually compress until
Yeah.
it fails, and then we know the measurement for it.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to get to the accuracy test today.
I don't think you will either.
So be it.
I think this is more important than the accuracy tests, to be honest.
Because this Holt is back from shipping. Where's the accuracy test? We've confirmed it's good enough.
Yeah.
But how good is it?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like if I could shoot a 0.9 in a 1 MOA group with shit ammunition, 2 groups in a row, fucking happy.
Yeah, it's more than what it's
Meant to.
meant to, yeah, for sure. The bolt doesn't get that hot, eh?
No, I noticed that, which is good. So we now decided to put the used spring back in, the recoil spring, and exchange. Are you exchanging both of them or just one of them?
I'll exchange one.
Okay.
Yeah.
To really find out which one is causing which.
Yeah, I'm going to measure it and take a photo so I can add it to my spreadsheet.
Ooh, good to know that.
So this one hasn't actually degraded that much because that was on 5 from a brand new.
Yeah.
It's only gone down 1 millimeter.
Yeah, but 1 mil at 5 is 25%.
That is true. That, I can't remember what the original measurement was, but I think it started on 30, so it's gone down 3 millimeters. Or maybe it was 40 and it's gone down 13 millimeters.
So which one do you want to exchange?
I reckon... Tough.
Which one has the more likelihood to cause that ejection issue?
Probably the ejector. I would dare say it would be the ejector.
All right, for some guys that don't know the difference between the ejector and extractor, do you want to show on a bolt which one's which?
Yeah, so...
Hold on. Coming closer. Right there.
All right, so that is the ejector. That is the extractor. So the extractor is the claw that goes into the rim of the cartridge to pull it out of the chamber. The ejector, by the name, is the thing that ejects the cartridge. People always get those two confused, and I often get people say, hey, I've got an extraction issue, but it's actually an ejector issue, or hey, I've got an ejector issue, but it's actually an extractor issue, because I don't fully understand how those two things work. Extractor extracts, so it pulls it out of the chamber. Ejector ejects it, pushes it out of the gun.
Righto. Awesome. And as we've seen in the video, we have an ejection problem, not an extraction
Correct.
problem.
Yeah.
How would an extraction problem come about? Like, what would it look like?
So an extractor problem would be the cartridge would stay in the chamber, and the extractor, because the spring would be so loose, it would jump over the rim. So the bolt would come rearwards, but the rim wouldn't come out of the chamber.
Okay.
But it's confusing because it can do both, right? So if the extractor's not strong enough,
Yeah.
it might be enough to get it out of the chamber, but it's not enough to hold it there while the ejector
Yeah.
pushes it out of the gun. So it could
So
be
it
either.
slips off and
Yeah.
then falls out.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
it could be either.
Yep.
I think it's more than likely the ejector, because we've seen some rounds are just flopping out of the gun, some are coming out with a bit of force. I think it's probably the ejector, not the extractor, but we'll see.
What do we got?
So the brand new spring and the used spring are both the exact same length, so it hasn't actually compressed.
Is that the extractor or ejector?
Ejector.
Oh,
So
really?
yes, so the extractor.
So, what about the extractor?
The extractor, they're the same length as well. Well, actually, the brand new one's actually shorter. So that's, oh wait, no, it's not. No, it's not. So it's only 0.2 of a mil difference between the brand new one and the one that's fired 900 rounds.
All right. So you want to still try the ejector one first?
Yes, but now I'm sort of believing that may not be the issue. fucking very slightly longer by like point something of a mil. So that's the brand new one.
Okay.
So I'm guessing didn't cover those.
When we were in Turkey and we did the first 2,000 round test fire, it was the
return spring.
No, that one, we replaced that one and the ejector, but I think we might have also replaced the extractor. Yeah, so that doesn't give us much. But once we did, it just kept on running to 2,000. Yeah, try one, put it back together, and we'll try the other one.
Yeah, I was just double checking. Yeah, so if it... Jesus fucking Christ.
Right then.
We have changed the ejector spring. So now once we're firing again, we're going to see if that issue we had of ejection goes away. It might not. If it does, we've isolated the issue and we can change the springs out and we know when they're failing. If it doesn't resolve the issue, then there may be something else within the gun we need to start looking at. That's the thing with testing, is you do repetitive things over and over again and try to find the result.
All right, we'll just wait till the range is clear and we'll keep going. Check, check, check.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8,
9,
9.
10, and that's that half mag from before.
Okay. Do you want to check the
So I think at the
half
end of this mag will be 920,
Okay.
I think.
Yep. Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah, about 5 rounds doesn't really matter. Let's see the ejection actually.
So still ejecting a little bit shitty.
But they eject forwards.
But they are
I haven't
ejecting
seen a
forwards, yeah.
backwards one yet.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that, but that might have sorted that out. Which also poses the question then, if the spring's not getting shorter.
How are they losing tension?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But it'll be, yeah. We can just keep going and see what happens. That one came.
Yeah, it was a shit one.
Yeah. Yeah. You're coming back again. They're certainly coming out better, but not good enough.
Yeah.
I'll take it apart before it gets too hot.
I'll change the extractor spring now. If that then doesn't resolve the issue, I'll change the bolt carrier and we'll see if the bolt carrier was the issue.
Rippled out, dribbled out. Keep going. No one didn't.
Keep going.
I'm more reliable. Don't push, don't. Yeah. Just a mag out. Keep going. There you go. Stop. There you go. There you go.
That nafar is melted for sure.
Yeah.
What have you done?
Didn't come
Are
out.
you going to feed or eject?
Eject.
Okay. Right, next thing will be changing that bolt carrier over.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a hot.
Yeah. Don't burn the touch the barrel.
Hold it with 2 hands.
Squeeze the juice out.
So at the moment, we're still having the ejection issues. We've changed the ejector plunger spring and the extractor spring. It's still not ejecting correctly. So
We can see we have now exchanged the Recoil spring to a brand new one because we swapped first the Recoil spring out to a brand new one. Didn't make much of a difference. Then we changed the ejector and the extractor spring. That started to show a difference, but it wasn't all the way there. It still wasn't good enough. And now we changed the old recoil spring back to the new recoil spring. So basically now we have a replaced recoil spring, ejector spring, and extractor spring. And now we can see a really good ejection and extraction again. So at this point, I would say we're looking at close to 1,000 rounds before they need to be replaced. Probably want to replace them around the 800 mark. Now again, as Ed mentioned, we'll provide the measurements so that you can see at what measurement you should be replacing them. We had 1,450 rounds. We haven't oiled her for like 400 or so rounds. I did for the last 100 rounds, and the ejection completely changed. It ran smoothly again with a little bit of grease and oil, and she just needed it. Now everything has been running really well since we changed over the springs. So that's very promising. There's no wear and tear of any concern at the moment. Again, we are at 1,450. We're gonna get to the 1,500. I'm running out of daylight or time. So we have another 2.5 hours that we can shoot, and then we have to stop. So I'm hoping to get to 1,800, 1,850. We'll see how we go. We do 100 relatively quickly, and then we give her a break, let it cool down, do 100, oil a bit, do 100, and work our way through. Obviously, we can't work on the gun while the gun is too hot, so there's always a delay for cooling, cleaning, putting back together, and then going. So it's taken a lot longer than expected, obviously, as always. The accuracy test won't be today, just because we just can't get it done. It'll be next week. So today is Thursday, the 30th. So it'll be next week, probably Monday or Tuesday. And yeah, but let's hammer through this and see how we go. So there was one round where I pulled where there's no strike on the actual round, and that was because I pulled the trigger while releasing the bolt. So I got the timing wrong, so that's what caused that. Yeah, it's a magazine issue. So we marked that magazine. Unfortunately, I loaded that magazine. I'm just going to take another magazine. All right, there you have it. And another 105 or whatever it was. Rounds done. Take the forend off to let her cool down. Ooh, she is hot tamale. All right, gents, 1,550. Nothing majorly broke. That's amazing. Like I said, there's a few things, but they're all minor. So far, there is nothing on the receiver, thank God. There's no wear and tear that makes me think that gun cannot just continue. But we'll see. Let's go with another 100 rounds. That's it. Yes. So another 100. Woo! The one that didn't eject was me pushing the button while pulling the trigger, and that causes a live round to be chambered, and then no hammer strike, so you got to eject it and then keep shooting. So that's what that just was. It's getting late in the day. Hands are hurting. Woo! Too hot. All right, gents. 1,650 and another 100. Good. You get sore in your hand after, 700 rounds. Might have not let the barrel cool down enough. Seems like she's a bit hot. Blowing some oil off. Last one. Far out. Woo! She burning. She's burning. And yes, I should have brought some gloves. Lessons learned. It's one of those things, one of the million things we're learning here. Give her a breather. 1,750. Yes. I also turn the gun slightly so it actually falls into the bucket. Yeah. Oh, so we have a failure to eject. We are at 1,750, 60, 70. Yep, 1,770. And I think we're basically again at the life of end of the recoil spring. But we'll find out. We'll shoot some more. If that happens again, we'll know. Right, 40 more to go.
That's all right. Really, 30 more.
30 more. I packed the one too many. All right, nice. Okay, 1,850. We have 150 left to 2,000. So far the recoil spring is 1 inch shorter than the recoil spring that we exchanged. So I think we're gonna get the 150 done. We might have one more, maybe 2 more ejection to failure during that process. That's my expectation, just because I would probably suggest to exchange the spring. We've just done basically another 900 rounds on that spring. She still holds up a little bit better than the previous one. We'll see. 150 rounds. We're going to get there. Okay, we are at 1,950. 50 more rounds, I'll pack up and go home. Long day, as always. The springs are slowly giving in, but we still haven't had a single cycle issue other than one at, I think, 1,800. So it's looking good for the last 50 rounds. It's been a big test. The lessons we've learned is things burn off when they get too hot. What do I mean is that the Loctite in pretty much every screw burned off, and screws need tightening or re-Loctiting if you start running firearms extremely hot. And that's from the gas tube to the pick rail to the main bolts. So that's the biggest lessons I've learned through this process. It's been a pleasure. It's exhausting, but you know, bad day at the shooting range is still better than any day at the desk. So I like to thank the QRA. They have always been fantastic to us and been able to provide us with ranges when we need them, even at very short notice. So a big thank you for the QRA here in Brisbane. And yeah, thank you very much. So we're going to go another 50 and then that's it. On the previous 100, my battery died. So excuse me, had to change batteries. Now we're going to do the last 50 and then we're done fully, truly with the torture test. There will be another video on the breakdown, all the things that we found, how we're fixing them or how we have fixed them in detail. It also will spawn a video on exactly what to check. Like after 100 rounds, go check this screw. Use Loctite here, use Loctite there. So hopefully we're going to have a very detailed video that Ed will probably run us through on how to do it, which I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to be great for customers to just know how to clean, how to maintain, what to check, and then early enough be able to intervene instead of, you know what it's like, you go out hunting, that one hunting trip every quarter or even a bigger one, you go out, or competition, right? You go out to a stage and then your gun doesn't work or your hunting rifle plays up. In many cases, that's either the stage lost or the tournament or the competition, or the hunt is ruined and then, you know, warranty repairs weeks later, you have your gun back. This entire exercise has been done in order to reduce the warranties and make sure that you get to enjoy the firearm and that you know exactly what to do in order to get the most out of it. I really would appreciate your comments on if you found this inspiring or knowledgeable, if you got something out of it, because this won't be the last one. The Buckmaster Gen 2M is a few weeks away. I'm sure we're going to do this all over again. I'm not a shotgun guy, so I hope that I have a volunteer to put 2,000 rounds through a shotgun, because my shoulder won't hold up. But anyway, let's go and do the last 50 rounds. I got to do 50 more rounds. Oh, shoot. Well, I got a new box here, but I'm just gonna jump to the Frontier ones and do 50 of those. That'll do us as well. Oh, I got another one here. Oh shit, no, that's not gonna do. There's 308s in there. All right, gents, the last 50 rounds. Here we are. We used a bit of ammo. Today we did 1,150 rounds, which are predominantly in here, and some are obviously down there. But we'll be right, last 50 rounds, boys. Let's go. Final. Oh, that was close. Oh, 17. Right. Oh, Jesus. Oh, missed finals. Last 10, boys, last 10. That's it, 2,000 rounds. Oh, did I think we gotta get there? No, I did not. Did I hope we get there? Yes. Woo, 2,000 rounds, far out. But I'm excited, 2,000 rounds, she's still going. I think once you put new springs in, I mean, we'll see. We'll take her apart, we have a look. And then I'll let Ed estimate how much we could actually run this for until it's game over. But I estimate he probably doesn't even have an answer for that. It'll be interesting to see if there's any other wear and tear that we are not aware of, other than obviously the springs. I want to have everybody have a spring set straight off the bat. So that would mean that you can run this gun 2,000 rounds without anything. Yep, and then you just exchange the springs as you need to, and then you just keep on going. And then after 2,000 rounds, hey, buy a spring set, or we call it a minor maintenance kit. So then you buy that, and then you keep on going. So we're going to take the gun apart, we're going to have a look, we're going to see if there's any wear and tear that will cause issues in the near future. We will do the accuracy test next week. It'll be interesting to see how much accuracy I can get out of this gun. Now that I've blown 2,000 rounds through it relatively quickly, it'll be really interesting to see what she can still do. So leave a comment if you want to see that. We might get Ed to do that. But yeah, we learned a lot. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope it was valuable. It certainly was extremely valuable to us and to Selig with all the feedback that we're providing. And this will drastically improve the customer satisfaction of the firearm. I truly believe that. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed the backstage view of what's going on and how we handle things. So thanks guys. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon.